we live yet?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. Oh, here we are, Gold Derby, and we are back to continue with our live Creative Emmy Arts coverage. This is the only place online to watch the winners be announced live. We just had Jimmy Fallon win one before we took our last break, and so he's having a big night. And Chris, there've been a few awards announced while we've been away. What has gone down?
We're welcoming in Charles Bright, and you got him right in front of you there. Tell people the nominees for those two categories and who won.
Okay, so we had Outstanding Special and Visual Effects, just regular. The nominees were Almost Human, Cosmos, Game of Thrones, The 100, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and the winner is Game of Thrones in that one. No surprise there. And
up to 4 on the board.
Up to 4
on the board.
I'm sorry, I just have to say this, Matt. I have a feeling like that's going to be in a museum next to Tim Russert's whiteboard that says Florida, Florida, Florida.
Yeah.
So save it. Save it.
I have seen that board in the museum. I have gone and seen Tim Russert's board, so that'd be cool to go to that.
Or it'll be on the next CSI as a hostage negotiation.
Yes. Yes.
And Outstanding Special and Visual Effects in a supporting role. The nominees were Da Vinci's Demons, Hawaii Five-0, Mob City, Vikings, The Walking Dead, and the winner, the other nominee, Black Sails. So Black Sails has won 2 this evening.
2.
Stars has done well overall.
Yeah.
And stunt coordination is in the process of being handed out, and I'll run through those very quickly. Both of them have been handed out. I think there's just 2. Is that right? Yeah, 2 stunt. For drama, series, miniseries, or movie, The Blacklist is the winner. Your other nominees were Game of Thrones, Grimm, Hawaii Five-0, Revolution, which won last year, and True Blood. And for a comedy series or variety program, stunt coordination, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is your winner. And Community, It's Always Sunny, Sam and Cat, and Shameless were the other nominees. So we haven't mentioned what's coming up, so let's do that. Character voiceover. Now this is a new category, and a very needed category, necessary category. Yeah. For years they've combined narration and voiceover together. And last year, Lily Tomlin won more of a narrator. The 2 prior years was Maurice LaMarche, and he's up again this year for voiceover. The big thing here that Charlie would probably talk your ear off for an hour is that Harry Shearer for The Simpsons has never won in his whole career, the only regular cast member to never win for that show, and he is up in this next category that's coming up right now.
Yep. Before this, several years ago, it was a juried award, so it wasn't one that there were formal nominees for. You just sort of get an announcement, like with the other juried awards that we had this evening, where they'd let you know if they're going to be giving out the award and who actually won it. So
before they announce it, would you quickly mention who the other nominees, along with Harry Shearer?
Yes, we have Chris Diamantopoulos for playing Mickey Mouse in Disney Mickey Mouse. He is, you might know him also from Arrested Development, several other projects.
And that program won earlier, so he might be one to look out for here.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Full as Stan on the Disney Channel show Dog with a Blog. Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy, previous comedy series nominee. Maurice LaMarche, 2-time winner in this category, veteran voice actor for Futurama. Maurice LaMarche, in case you don't know, he plays Calculon Morbo on Futurama. You might also know him as the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Seth Green, Robot Chicken, and of course Harry Shearer for The Simpsons.
This is a tough deal.
Hey, look who just won! Look who just won!
I don't see it. Did they
Harry
say it?
Shearer.
Harry Shearer won.
Harry Shearer has won an Emmy. It's happened.
Oh,
20 plus years.
The highlight of the whole night.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
He's not. Marcus just said he's not even there.
And he's not there.
Well, here's what we'll do. I know the people at Fox. Harry loves to talk. I mean, it's not just voiceover, but I mean, he does podcasts, and I will find a way to get him to join us in the next month.
Oh,
And he can do his acceptance speech here.
He also I believe he splits his time between, I don't remember where in America he lives, but he does spend part of his time, I believe, in London. I believe his wife is British.
Well, we do them from all over the world. I will do everything in my power to get Harry Shearer to do a chat with us.
Absolutely.
And the reason the Harry Shearer winning is such a big deal is not just because he hasn't won before, but the amount of times everyone else from The Simpsons has won. When this was a juried award, one year they gave it to every voice actor on The Simpsons practically, but Harry Shearer. They kept on giving it to the other performers. For some reason, he kept on getting left out, and finally he's been able to get it. Hank Azaria has heaps. Dan Castellaneta has heaps. Harry Shearer never got one. He does Mr. Burns, he does Smithers, he does some iconic characters. It's just so great that he's got one and isn't just for some bizarre, unknown reason just not one for that show.
Well, he's also, and I know Chris normally likes to point this sort of stuff out, he's also someone who has been working in the industry for decades. I mean, even before The Simpsons, he was, of course, in This Is Spinal Tap. He was a cast member on Saturday Night Live back in the 70s.
I'll get you one better if you don't know this.
The Jack Benny Show?
No. Well, I mean, I know he did. He was the original Wally, maybe not Wally, one of the original kids that was supposed to be on Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was in the pilot, but then he didn't get picked up for the series.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just a testament to how long he's been working in this industry. And of everyone who was on The Simpsons, who's been on there since it was started back in on the Tracy Ullman Show, he is the show business person on there. So it's great that he finally has gotten this due recognition.
Well, I met him one time at one of the Golden Globe parties. This is over a decade ago, and very nice guy. He was shocked that somebody knew who he was, because I just walked over to him, in the lobby, and the short guy. I didn't know how short he was. Okay, back to narrator. They should have just done those back to back. Children's program, by the way, was One Last Hug. 3 days at Grief Camp from HBO. Sheila Nevins produces that. She adds another to her overall record. She now has 26 Emmys.
My goodness.
For her career.
Sounds like a sad one. Sounds like not the shows I was watching when I was a kid. 3 days at Grief Camp.
Now, I wouldn't know that would be children's program. That should have been like, informational program or something. And then narrator is next. Narrator is a nice group of people. Jeremy Irons, Daniel Craig, Jane Lynch, Henry Strozier, and Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi has never won a primetime Emmy. She's got daytime Emmys, and that's why she's in the EGOT. But she never won a primetime before.
And I wanted to make a quick correction to what something that was said earlier by Tom, that Nathan Lane does have 2 daytime Emmys. He does not have a primetime, though.
Yeah, I knew he didn't have a primetime.
So yes, the narrator. So it'd be nice for Whoopi to get a primetime, just for those who like to asterisk the daytime Emmy for those EGOTs. So it'd be nice just to have that all like.
If I had to guess, though, I would say Jeremy Irons.
You really just, I mean, he has such a commanding voice on its own. He played a lion in The Lion King. I mean, it's just too obvious. And he just won.
Yeah. Jeremy Irons takes home the Emmy.
Those British voiceover people, they win everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Commercial is next. I think of all the categories tonight, that one is one we've all seen, I'm sure, but I don't know that any of us really care too much about it because we don't know anybody behind the scenes that worked on it. But I'm glad that they provide an opportunity for a win there. Do you have the nominees in front of you?
Yes, I have the nominees. Let's see. We got Childlike Imagination, which was a commercial for GE. Heroes Welcome, a commercial for Budweiser. Misunderstood, which was a commercial for Apple. Possibilities, which was a commercial for Nike. and Puppy Love, which was a commercial for Budweiser.
Puppy Love sounds like the cutest.
It is a very cute one. It's this is one that aired during the Super Bowl. It's one where there's this this house with all these puppies up for adoption. This one puppy keeps getting away and going over to the Clydesdales that are like the logo for Budweiser. No, it did not.
They've gone with Apple. They've gone with the cool company, not the cute puppies.
All those puppies sitting in the audience are now disappointed.
Yeah, Lions just
won Hollywood for nothing.
Puppies lost commercial. Yeah.
Okay, cinematography, a whole bunch of categories here.
These ones are good.
Let's walk through. Let's go in order. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Miniseries and movie are first. I'll do this one, and we'll kind of rotate. 2 Fargo episodes. Fleming, The Man Who Would Be Bond, Killing Kennedy, The Normal Heart, and Sherlock. My feeling is one of them is the one with all of that ends with all of the snow blizzard.
Yeah, the Burden's Ass. That's that one.
I would personally think that I haven't seen all of these, but that one really stands out to me. Just for being able to make those people be seen in that snow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, just the idea of how they had to film that to me is.
And I know
just
some
maddening.
of that was computer graphic. I mean, computer images, but still, that didn't stop gravity from winning. So.
Sherlock is having a good night though.
Sherlock is
doing well.
It's true.
And there are 2 Fargo nominees here, so this will be interesting to see where they go.
Well, the other interesting thing about this category is the Normal Heart cinematographer is Danny Moder, Julia Roberts' husband.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
So they could both win this year, because I think Julia is winning.
I'm still kind of divided on that, but that's a topic for another conversation.
Should we have another look at? Should we have a look at the next cinematography?
Yeah, go ahead and do the next one too, because they'll come fast.
Yeah. So there's one. The next one's reality programming, which is Alaska: The Last Frontier, The Amazing Race, Deadliest Catch, Project Runaway, Survivor, and The Voice.
And last year's winner here was Deadliest.
And Ralph just posted, Sherlock has now added another one to its haul this evening.
Wow. Are we underestimating that next week?
Don't we always say that, and then it ends up not making a damn bit of difference?
I know, but it's one thing when like a
than...
Game of Thrones wins a bunch that we're expecting. It's another when you're not expecting.
Yeah. Well, Boardwork we weren't expecting to win a lot its first season.
Well, last year's winner in that category that Sherlock just won was, I thought a very worthy winner. I mean, I'm not saying Sherlock isn't either. I think it is. Top of the Lake won last year in that category. One of the few times that Candelabra did not win.
Yeah. So now Sherlock.
You just said I would maybe go
Game of
Deadliest that
Thrones.
won last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think Alaska: The Last Frontier would be something to watch out for, since that.
Yeah, when you
seems
said
like,
those words, I thought that sounds like cinematography to me. But
yeah, that sounds like
the Fargo and the cold not win. So.
Yeah. I'd love Survivor to win. I don't think it will. What? Sorry.
While we wait on that one, Charlie, why don't you go ahead and do the nonfiction nominees?
Sure. Okay, so cinematography for nonfiction programming, we have 2 episodes of Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown. The first one is one where he was in Punjab, and the second one is the one where he was in Tokyo. We have Cosmos, The Square, the Oscar-nominated one that won an Emmy earlier this evening, and an episode of Vice called Greenland is Melting / Bonded Labor.
That one is tough.
I've seen the Vice episode. That's very good. Like,
I have a feeling The Square might take that one.
Yeah, it's an Oscar nominee, isn't it? Like it's.
I mean, it's.
I think Cosmos, that's doing okay. not as well as we thought, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Cosmos has been hard to predict tonight. It has won some, but not nearly as many as we thought.
Yeah, I think it's currently on 3. If my board is, if I've updated that properly as it's been winning.
So we've already talked about 2 that are upcoming. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Yeah. Let's let another one or 2 be announced, and then we've still got 2 more cinematography. We got 4 overall. We don't know the answers to.
Oh, one thing I wanted to point out is something I saw in the chat box a bit earlier. A user named GG205 remarked that one of the winners this evening was her husband, who just won his 6th Emmy tonight as one of the camera work people for Sound of Music Live. So, big congratulations to her and her husband.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
thank
she's
you
on
so
here,
much for
then
joining
maybe
the
this
chat.
is the way she was keeping up with the ceremony.
Yeah. This is where the loved ones of Emmy winners are going to find out who's winning the Emmys. This is...
Looking in the chat room, here's a thought, too. Not just Sherlock winning next week. And I'm not even talking about for movie. I'm saying, is there a category where maybe it could win? But I'm thinking also, it's different panels, but could somebody sitting on the Fargo panel, on the lead panel, or the supporting panel go, you know, Martin Freeman was so different in both of his TV roles this year, I'm going to vote for him.
Yeah, which Lady Emmy in our chat room has raised the point.
Yeah, I just noticed that, and I wonder that.
It's a good point. Like,
I don't think he could win supporting. I don't see anybody beating Matt Bomer. But lead is so up in the air.
Cumberbatch. He's popular.
Well, I think among all, I interviewed him this week. I don't know if people got a chance. It was actually an audio interview. It was a last-second edition. He couldn't get in front of a camera, so we did our only audio interview of the whole year, and it's gotten tons of downloads. Though I didn't know this until a few months ago. When they do in December, when you get all those year-end reports from all kinds of magazines and Google and so forth, he's the second most popular male entertainer in the world.
Oh my gosh!
According to search engines.
Yeah, well, he's the star of The Hobbit.
So a ton of people have listened to that interview, but I told him in the interview at the end, and you can see it on or not see it, you can hear it on some of the Slugfest that you all did. Almost to a person, people say, now, if I was voting, I would go Martin Freeman, but here's why I think it's Billy Bob, or here's why I think it's Mark.
Yeah. I understand why he's so popular, because he's in Sherlock, he's in Fargo, he's in The Hobbit. These are all things with big cult followings, and some of them huge cult followings. So he's got a lot of different fan bases.
I think one thing
we just invited in. Oh, he disappeared. Maybe he'll come back in a second. Eric Tish is one of our forum users, and he'll probably be with us in a minute.
I think one thing to also consider when it comes to Fargo is, especially with Martin Freeman, is that if they get a panel that's already seen all of Fargo, that were already fans of it, that bodes really well for Martin Freeman.
That's right. That's right. We just never know what a particular panel is going to consist of or look like.
Yeah.
That's why Emmys, I think, are the single hardest to predict in the world.
Yes. No question. And that's why, you get 60% in your Emmy predictions. It's not a bad result, necessarily.
And I don't know why. Unless the cinematographer for Sherlock has been on stage forever, I don't know why. You would think these cinematographies would all be like boom, 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 but they're not.
Yeah. And we got Eric again.
Okay.
Eric.
Well, you're our last user to join us tonight out of our forums. Tell people what your name is in the forums. Eric. I don't know if he can hear us.
Have we got Eric? Are you there? Oh no, we're gonna lose the sound mixing Emmy next year.
Our technical direction has not been perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. They just dropped a bunch of them on the chat box.
A bunch of cinematography. I wonder what happened to our guys backstage.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, it's just a bunch of, like, I think from like the past 5 minutes. Deadliest Catch won reality program.
All right.
And the Square won nonfiction programming.
Yeah. So what?
Hey, Eric, are you there?
Audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, so can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you
hello.
hear us okay?
Eric, we can hear you.
Oh, jeez. I can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, it seems to be delayed. Try exiting out one more time and coming back in. Maybe that'll fix it.
And in the meantime, we can go through the series races for... Yes, I can hear you now. Should we just run through the
I'm trying to
nominees?
fix my mic. Oh, you can. Okay, great.
I think he's so delayed from us that he's not hearing things as soon as we say them. If you hear us at all, and even
I can
if
hear you perfectly.
From now, just exit out and come back in.
So, well,
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run us through the nominees for cinematography for a multi-camera series. Is that the next one? Oh, no, single-camera series, which is Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, they're nominated for the Lion and the Rose wedding episode and the Two Swords season premiere. Homeland, well, finally that's in the mix. House of Cards Chapter 18 and True Detective, Who Goes There? So that's our 6 nominees. Will Game of Thrones get into the lead, break ahead of Sherlock with its 5th win here?
No, it will not.
Okay, who has won, Charles?
True Detective has won. That's, of course, the big tracking shot.
Episode with the long tracking.
Yes, of course. Of course it was. So yeah, True Detective goes up to 4 on the board with Game of Thrones and Sherlock. We've got 3 shows on 4 wins. Now the nominees for multi-camera series, cinematography, The X's, How I Met Your Mother, Last Man Standing, Mike and Molly, and Two Broke Girls.
We have the winner there as well.
We do? Mike and Molly? I don't know. This is my guess.
No, it's How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother won.
How I Met Your Mother. Okay. Very good. And I would imagine they've won this before. They've usually done quite well in the tech categories for multi-camera things.
Oh, they're shooting right on here. Let me see.
Okay, what's next?
Well, they just did, I'm going to have to scan back. My chat room had stopped. The writing
mine
fiction is
too.
Cosmos.
Directing, we went to the Square.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So the Square is at 3. I don't know if you have that one ready, Matt.
No, I don't. I'll write it in. There we go. The Square.
After that, we have documentary filmmaking.
Documentary filmmaking. Okay.
Okay.
Somehow or another, my chat box had stopped, and I was not getting any information at all. But I fixed that now.
Yeah. So Cosmos is now tying on 4 as well. We have a 4-horse race for the biggest Emmy haul today. How exciting!
It's fantastic.
It's nerd excitement, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that the best kind to have for this type of evening?
The world, I'm sure, is on the edge of its seat as we wait to see which show wins the most Emmys at the Creative Arts tonight.
I'm trying to go back and find my writing and directing.
Yes.
I have them. Do you need? Or are you looking?
I heard who won. I was just going to mark them on my page, and it's as the evening gets longer and longer, I'm losing my mental capabilities.
My notes were so good in the first hour as to what was happening.
Well, remember, Matt and I are the only ones that have been here the whole time. So.
Yeah. Well, Wile E. Coyote, we're here in.
Cosmos won for writing, and the Square won for directing. There's another person that was interviewed by us. Two, actually, because Tom interviewed Anne from Cosmos.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of these interviews are in our contenders folder at the top of the page.
Yeah, and there been some really good interviews this year. I know Paul cited the Julia Louis-Dreyfus one you did earlier, but there's been a lot of really good chats people have done this year on Gold Derby. So,
okay.
Yes.
Exceptional merit in documentary filmmaking. Another that was actually eligible for the Oscars, and that is Life According to Sam. And another for Sheila Nevins.
She wins something every year.
Unless she's won more than 2 tonight, maybe somebody in the chat room can correct me, but I believe she's won 2 tonight, which makes her career total 27.
Mm.
She was at 25. Okay, we've got Eric back. Let me see if... Oh, he just disappeared again. Sorry, Eric. This happens to everybody. Every celebrity you can name, everybody that we've had on, at some point we've had issues that you probably didn't even know about because we weren't live.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to just address very quickly was the win that was earlier by Treme in sound mixing. When I saw those nominees, I looked over and I thought, Treme could win this because what was one of the most popular features on Treme? The music. That music is, or as my mother likes it, her alternative to holiday music.
Well, next up are documentary or nonfiction special. And it's not on your sheet, guys, but I'm figuring documentary series is right after that.
Yeah, oh, yes. We're missing 65.
They left out a number on the list they sent us.
Yeah.
We couldn't find that category, so we figured it's right there. But special is first, and that's JFK, Paycheck to Paycheck, Running from Crazy, The 60s, which Tom Hanks will win another Emmy if that wins, and The Square, and the Whoopi Goldberg Mom's Mabley special. Okay, let me see.
Which is another chance for Whoopi Goldberg to win, correct? She's a producer on that.
And we just had a big upset in that category.
Who's won, Charles?
JFK American Experience wins that category.
Whoa.
Eric, I've accidentally hit the mute button. Give me a second.
Eric. So the next award is a documentary series, is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Do you want me to run through the nominees?
Yeah, run through them, Charles.
Okay, we got American Masters, Cosmos, Pioneers of Television, The World Wars, and Years of Living Dangerously. One of the interesting nominees from this is Years of Living Dangerously. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the executive producers of this. So after this, he may become Emmy winner, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There we go.
Is he one of the nominees?
Yeah, he's listed as one of the executive producers.
Oh, okay. He's not on my Emmy list. Maybe he complained, because I printed that out the day they were announced. The World Wars was my favorite. I interviewed Stephen David, and so if our interview streak goes, then he's going to win. But it's got to be Cosmos. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you would think that. I think the only spoiler is the one where we had the Gold Derby interview, probably. But a two-horse race for sure, and Cosmos out in front. Do we have that announced yet in the chat room?
Not that I can see.
And Seth MacFarlane wins an Emmy there.
Mm-hmm.
If it wins. And they do include the host on things like this, so Neil deGrasse Tyson would win. It's American Masters. Wow.
No, it's a tie. It's a tie.
Okay.
American Masters is the first one that's been announced.
Well, now listen, that program wins a lot. It's not like it's a huge shocker, but in a year where Cosmos is there, if Cosmos is not the other half of that, then
Who else won that award? We are waiting for Ralph. Let's see. Cosmos will pull ahead on 5 if they actually got this. Hang on, take a breath. Boy. Ralph Galvin, master of suspense in the chat room.
Whoever's writing this is a master of suspense.
And
it may have been one of those where they, where the presenter actually, waits until the first one.
Which is how they should do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen it done both ways and it work out. I mean, sometimes I've seen situations where you've got both up there and it's like they're all happy together and they don't even know each other.
Years of living dangerously.
Emmy winner Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm gonna have to double check that. I'm gonna have to double check. Did that come from the Emmy website?
Yeah. This is I printed it out yesterday from the Emmy website.
Okay.
And interestingly, his I don't know if it's wife or ex-wife, Maria Shriver was one of the nominees for Paycheck to Paycheck. So Arnold wins and Maria Shriver loses is the headline out of this Creative Arts Emmys.
And next up is, that was series there, so just to let people know, informational series or special is next. Last year this was a tie. Parts Unknown, Anthony Bourdain won. That wasn't a big shocker. But Inside the Actors Studio last year won for the first time in its history. And they're both up again tonight against Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman. Vice, you interviewed the guy from Vice, Matt. And The Writer's Room, which is produced by Jim Rash.
And this is a big award for Emmy records because if Vice wins, Bill Maher wins an Emmy.
That's true.
He will not be the biggest loser in Emmy history of having lost more Emmys and without having won one.
This category has a lot of interesting names in it.
Yeah, it does.
Morgan Freeman's never won an Emmy.
There we go. Morgan Freeman could finally win an Emmy.
He has not won a Tony, and I'm not sure on the Grammy side. Maybe somebody in our chat room knows. He would be an easy person to go get to read your book and win an Emmy, though.
Got another tie.
Yeah.
I mean, win a Grammy.
Another tie.
We have a tie. I hope Bill Maher finally wins.
Bill Maher finally wins. Maybe.
And that'll be another one of our
if he wins for. It'd be interesting if he wins for a non-performing thing or something where he's not on camera.
Yeah.
Well,
not real time. Yeah.
Anthony
Bourdain.
Well, he did win last year, so that one's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Let's see who else joins him.
Hopefully it's Vice to continue our interview streak as well.
And Daniel interviewed Morgan Freeman last summer, so I don't know if we can count.
Yeah, we did do that one for last season. So.
Vice.
Bill Maher is an Emmy winner now.
Bill Maher is won an Emmy. It's the night of overdues. Harry Shearer and Bill Maher winning on the same night.
Oh, do you believe in miracles?
Yeah.
If I'm Don Misher, I'm on the phone in an hour calling Bill Maher to have him present next week.
Yeah.
With Harry Shearer.
Oh, God, I would love that.
Okay, people that love these next categories, here we are in that special class.
Yes.
This could be the first for Amy Poehler.
I would love that, but I just don't see that.
Yeah. So, what are the nominees in this category?
I have to get to those pages. Hold on.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Charles?
Special class. I got it here, too. Go ahead, though.
Yep. Got 71st Annual Golden Globe Awards, the Oscars, 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics opening ceremony, The Sound of Music Live, and the 67th Annual Tony Awards.
Well, smart money is always going to be on the Tonys.
Yeah.
But we've seen A Sound of Music Live win tonight. In the past, you could always bet on the winner of the Olympics opening ceremonies. I remember They used to just dominate.
Mm-hmm.
The Oscars used to dominate, and the Globes have never won. So this is the Oscars with Ellen this year. I don't know that that was. I don't know that it could beat these others.
The Tonys is so big, and that was such a good opening number. I find it like
Now
maybe. Yeah.
It is not the one that aired this past June. It's the one from the previous June.
Yeah, with Neil Patrick Harris doing the big number, right? Like where he's climbing up the giant Tony statue and jumping through hoops and.
And while we wait on that one, I'll give you the one after that. Oh, Tony Awards.
Yeah.
We just got it.
Yeah.
The next one is short format special class, live action. A lot of famous names in here. Children's Hospital has won this a couple of years in a row. That's back in Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. Parks and Rec in Europe. Amy Poehler's not a part of that nomination, but Michael Schur is. The Soup finally gets a nomination for their parody of True Detective, Joel McHale's first ever nomination. And the Super Bowl halftime show, and Bruno Mars could win an Emmy, I hear.
Yep.
I'm thinking this is Between Two Ferns. They had Obama on it. I think it got a lot of...
No, it does say the episode.
Yeah,
that does seem likely, doesn't it?
I don't know. I mean, Children's Hospital is such an offbeat, very niche show, and the fact that it's been able to win 2 in a row, I would not be surprised to see it win.
You know what, though? Whenever I see an apple in a barrel of oranges, you got funny, 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 and then the Super Bowl halftime show.
Exactly. That's the other one I was that I think could do it.
But it's interesting. This would be if Gold Derby ever competed at the Emmys. This would be our category. This would be where we'd be duking it out. So keep your eye on this one, guys.
After that, we're up to, just to keep things rolling along, short format special class nonfiction. And there's a bunch of famous people there, too. But let's wait just a second and see. And I don't think Neil Patrick Harris would be there tonight, backing up for a moment, because isn't he finishing up his musical this weekend? Isn't he still on Broadway for another day?
I know this is around the time that he's scheduled to be leaving Hedwig, but I can't remember if this is the actual weekend where it is.
Right. I think it is. I think I saw Andrew Reynolds on with, it might have been Jimmy Fallon a couple of nights ago, and he was basically saying you're about to start. So.
Yeah. Ed has asked, does Obama win an Emmy for this? I don't think Obama.
No, he's
would
not.
Win an Emmy.
There's four
he's
people
just in it. Yeah.
By the way, when we had that discussion earlier, I printed out my list the day that they were announced. The whole, I don't know how many, 60 pages, and Schwarzenegger was not on that, so he got added in.
Between Two Ferns.
Between Two Ferns has won it. Zach Galifianakis. It's a great show. I think it's become like pretty talked about Between Two Ferns. Not a surprise at all.
And another victory for online programming.
Yeah.
Yep. Hosted by Funny or Die.
He's got the he's the GOT.
Yeah. I've always loved Between Two Ferns. Well,
your short format category here also has a lot of famous people. Jerry Seinfeld for his Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Cosmos, I'm guessing that was it doesn't really say, a short version of their program. I Was There, the Boston Marathon bombings. Jay Leno's Garage. Park Bench with Steve Buscemi. And 30 for 30 Shorts on ESPN. Whenever you got something just amazingly, totally serious compared to the other ones, I'm not talking about just dramatic, but they're going to vote for the Boston Marathon bombing short, I imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking before you said that one, Comedians in Car Getting Coffee would be a good shot to win, just because I know there's a lot of respect for that as a series, what Jerry Seinfeld's doing there, and the names he gets to come in the cars with him and stuff. I know there's a lot of heat, but yeah, the Boston bombings, it's going to be hard for voters not to tick.
And in looking back, last year's winner in this category was the documentary Remembering 9/11. So if you were betting money, I would go with the Boston piece here. But there's several funny ones in there, and you've got Cosmos. Maybe it gets a makeup win.
Yeah. So just to confirm for people in the chat room, Obama has not won an Emmy, but Zach Galifianakis has won an Emmy. Correct?
That is absolutely correct.
That is
and
correct.
Bill Maher.
Okay,
and Harry
and
Shearer.
Bill Maher. And Harry Shearer. That's some big Emmy winners tonight. But
Barack
not
Obama
Nathan
does
Lane.
have 2 Grammys, though. I can confirm that.
Yes. The Grammys love their Democratic presidents.
30 for 30, ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Tate Donovan is now an Emmy winner. Tate Donovan was a producer on that particular one that they nominated.
Oh.
It's nice to see him as an Emmy winner after all those years on TV and in entertainment in general.
Well, he does a lot of directing too. You know, he did some Damages even while he was there, but also after he was gone. Oh, next up,
interactive
program, and that is one of you do it. I did the last one.
Okay, we have Comedy Central's At Midnight, one of my favorite shows. Game of Thrones premiere, Facebook Live and Instagram event. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Digital Experience, and The Voice.
I will tell you right now, Fallon is winning that.
I
and
really
I'm
hope it's at midnight.
Next week to go with him over Colbert.
Yeah, I'm very divided about that right now. I don't know which one to go with, but I've always had Fallon in the top position there.
Well, the thing about it is he submitted the premiere, which isn't the best episode, but you get this real feeling of history shifting. You know, when somebody new takes over the Tonight Show, and he does have the big thing with Will Smith, the rap battle. And you got U2 playing on the rooftop. I mean, it's a good hour.
But Conan's last Tonight Show.
Didn't Colbert submit the one where he does the dance?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I've been sticking with him.
Yeah, look. I think in this category, in that category, when in doubt, I'll go with. I'm going to go with Colbert. They've loved those news shows for the past sort of 15 years in this category, pretty much. And you know, Letterman won it 5 years in a row. The Daily Show won it 11 years in a row. They love repeating themselves here. But yeah, Fallon could win.
You
I really hope it's at
midnight. That is
midnight.
true in this category, but there are. I told you, Jimmy Fallon.
Yep, and it was.
So he's won another Emmy tonight because he's. Does your list actually give who the nominees are?
No, on that one it just says NBC Entertainment Digital.
Yeah, I believe he won there because I think he's won this a year or two ago for Late Night, and I think on your At Midnight, did it list the people on that one?
No, actually there are no. Well, no, Game of Thrones has some individuals on there, but the At Midnight only lists production companies. It lists Comedy Central, Funny or Die, Nerdist Industries. Doesn't list specifics.
One reason I'm asking that, I believe this next category they're presenting is the Juried Award that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's company won. I think he actually wins an Emmy as part of that. And I think the same goes for Fallon. What I was going to say a moment ago, you talked about Daily Show dominating for years. That's maybe Colbert is starting that.
Yeah.
That's true. One thing I've noticed, though, and we're experiencing this now in Comedy Actress, they go through cycles. In the 90s, 80s, 90s, you had Candice Bergen, Helen Hunt. It was one or the other for a decade. And then you got on a tear where it was, I don't remember the number, 12, 13, 14 different women in a row. And now Julia's dominating. So it's like they go in cycles. And with Colbert, I mean, let's say he does win. Well, he's not going to win again because that's the end of his show.
No, he'll have another.
Yeah, that's right. He'll have one. Well, we don't know that. This show
it's up in the air a bit.
But if he starts, let's say, in January, February, March, in the spring, will he submit Colbert Report or will he submit Late Show? He's not going to submit both.
From what I remember about about what I read when Letterman announced his retirement, the contract, I think they said the reports were that it ends around May, if I remember correctly.
Well, they've
May
never
2015.
announced. Letterman has not announced when he's going to leave.
Yeah.
The
all in
only
David Letterman's
thing he
hands,
said was
right?
2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only other thing we know is Colbert is done with his show in December.
Yes.
I have a feeling that Dave will take it up to May in the year with the end of the natural year of television. That's just a gut feeling. Also, Colbert, I think anybody would like some time to prepare, especially a brand new. I mean, I think he would love that 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah.
To do nothing but get ready.
Yeah.
Might redesign the theater a little bit.
Yeah, he may not even. I mean, I never have understood the people that want to, end a show on a Friday and then the new person take over on Monday. I don't, on these talk show things. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And it was a horrible decision for Jay Leno way back in the day. I know you guys were too young to remember that, but his manager at the time demanded that they take over on the Monday after. And
that manager was.
I know, but I mean, it just really, really made people mad, and it was not a good start.
Yeah.
And then she wouldn't even let him thank Johnny on the first show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had the just insane reputation, and then Jay finally had to dump her.
Well, I know, but I think every talk show host, maybe everybody in the entertainment industry, learned a lot from that over the years.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but the entire experience of the battle for late night.
That's a great book and movie if you ever get a chance to see them.
Yeah.
We're in just a short moment of break here. Well, I guess, Charlie,
yeah.
I think we're done with you.
All right.
Well, if you want to hang on, though, we have finished with all of our forums users. Let me just invite Rob in, and you stay a little while.
Okay, sure.
If you have time.
I have plenty of time.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
You guys talk, and I'll invite Rob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another interesting, the next award is choreography. And one of the interesting nominees here is Mandy Moore. Pop star Mandy Moore is a nominee as a choreographer for So You Think You Can Dance.
Here we go. And that could definitely win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This category last year was won by...
Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his name.
Derek Huff.
Derek Huff, and they did it on the main ceremony. Occasionally, for some reason or another, not in a bad way, they will rotate some kind of a category over to the main ceremony. I think last year it was strictly, I mean, they looked at the roster of possibilities. They knew they had Neil hosting. He might have even requested that, but they made it fit in naturally.
Yeah.
But that is the next one, choreography.
Yeah, and So
You've
You
got
Think
two
You Can Dance.
categories that normally, well, they rotate every other year now, but they're big categories: directing and writing for a variety series. And SNL has won that at least the last couple of years on directing.
Actually, I just will be right back, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
Do you have
So,
your
yeah,
choreography list in front of you?
I can get it.
It shouldn't be too long before they jump back in.
No.
Yeah, there we go. I got it.
I've got it too.
Go ahead.
Dancing with the Stars. So You Think You Can Dance. 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 There you go.
Your screen is not broken.
Moore.
It is nominated 4 times.
Yes. Rob, good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
You're just in time for choreography.
Yeah. It looks like
Who
it
do you
was Napoleon, I think. Is it
Rob had
Napoleon
asked me
Tabitha
earlier in
Bennett?
the week if he could time it out to be here in time for choreography.
Just for choreography. It is the highlight of my night.
Yes.
Rob
looks
is
like it was
going to
Napoleon
now
Dharma.
give us a demonstration of each of the nominated
You ready?
dances.
Stand back. Okay. No, I thought it would have been Travis Wall, to be honest. I know a little bit about So You Think You Can Dance, and that's as far as I know. Travis Wall, I thought, would win it, but it looks like it was Napoleon and Tabitha.
Well,
So
if you know a bit about So You Think You Can Dance, you're pretty well equipped for a category where it's 80% of the nominees.
Pretty much. Like, that's it, right?
And I do have to correct myself. One of the forum posters, ED, said it's a different Mandy Moore, so I apologize for that.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
is it like there's a writer?
Mandy Moore.
There's a writer called Will Smith on Veep, and I always get when I see him in the credits.
Oh, yeah, that's really frustrating.
Well, there's I made this mistake, I think it was 2 summers ago. You know, when we do our interviews, we do all of our research, and this is on IMDb now, it's not my fault. David Steinberg, the host of Inside Comedy, I had on, and it said he was nominated, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times for writing on the Oscars, especially on years where Billy Crystal was on. I just thought, well, he's a comedy writer. I mean, that makes sense. And it was a different David Steinberg. So.
Yeah. I had the same problem for Stephen Price, who did the music for Gravity, and there's another Stephen Price that won all these other awards too. So it's common.
SNL winning streak.
Yeah.
It just won
SNL wins directing for Variety. So
wow.
Over choreography?
What's that?
Did they skip over choreography?
No,
no,
it was So You
it was
Think You Can
Napoleon and
Dance.
Tabitha. Yeah, for So You Think You Can Dance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you go. SNL's having a good night, isn't it?
Yes, is that its 4th, I believe?
I think you might have to move it up, Matt.
I might have to move it up.
Well, they already had the all-time record, so they just are extending that, and Sheila Evans is extending her all-time record. How many guys in the forums has SNL won tonight?
Yeah.
Yep, now we have writing. Well, Don Roy King won this last year at the primetime ceremony, and now we have the writing category, which should be interesting.
This will be telling
last
the Variety. Yeah.
I'm really excited about this one. I hope it's one of the
This is
underdogs.
one of the more eclectic groups that they've had. A lot of times it's just your talk shows. And this year they added in Amy Schumer and Key and Peele, and Portlandia is back, so...
Yeah. I think it's Colbert or Portlandia. I think one of those two will probably take it out.
They seem like the most likely.
Well, I hope they did the big funny packages that they'll show on the replay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were always my highlights of the Emmy ceremony. Whenever they put those packages together, they're usually pretty brilliant.
Okay, they just tell me that SNL's won 4 tonight. It's now won 44 for its history.
It's incredible.
And Sheila Nevins, anybody in the forum has helped me on this, but I think she's won twice tonight.
She has.
Moves her up from... She herself, all alone, by herself, has won 27.
Depends on if you count the juried award for costumes, it's won 5.
SNL?
Yes. That was brought up by 24 Emmy.
Oh, okay. Well, I do count. I mean, a juried award is an award.
Yeah, why not?
It's not an honorary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just to run through the nominees for writing for Variety series, it is The Colbert Report, The Daily Show, Inside Amy Schumer, Key and Peele, Portlandia, and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. And I know I pronounced one of those shows' names wrong.
And while we wait on that, Variety Special in the last few years has been really easy to predict, and Marcus should know that better than what he did last year. Always go with Kennedy Center Honors, and we didn't have it in the Prediction Center this year. It's Colbert Report for
the Colbert Report has won.
Damn it!
Oh,
That's
did it
such a
win?
shame.
I'm not seeing it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed by that. Anyway.
I'm not. I love the guy. You can't give that show enough awards from my perspective.
Oh my God. No.
He has fun with it. He has fun with his Emmy wins, which I like about that. You know, he talks about it. He'll joke about it on the show. You know, he wears it as a medal. It's just, I think it's wonderful.
I really like it.
Yeah, and I gotta say with Colbert, he has won this category before and not got on to win Variety Series. Last year he won both, but there was a year beforehand where The Daily Show won. So it doesn't lock up the series category for him next week. But it's a good sign. It's like it shows that people still like the show.
Yeah. So what's next?
Well, Variety Special is next.
Okay.
And like I was about to say, you always go with Kennedy Center here. It's won 5 in a row, is that right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, as somebody that has every single one of them on DVD, and I love those, and I'll go back and watch them, it was not the best ceremony this year. If it wins this time, it's strictly on just people just wanting, just giving it another one. The one that I would most look out for, in my opinion, is the Billy Crystal special.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing this show for years. He's perfected it. It was great. I think he's got a real shot at winning here.
Well, what about the Mel Brooks special, Chris? Did you see that? I missed it.
I have all the AFI specials recorded too. Now, he's only in it for a few minutes. He's at a table being saluted all night.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, as I was going through the nominees, though, Martin Short is a nominee for that.
Yeah, he's listed as the host.
He really didn't host it. He was the first one out and did a musical number. So I was a little surprised that he's a nominee there. He won an Emmy way back in the early 80s for writing on SCTV. But I just thought that was interesting. It's fun to go through the nominations and just look for those names. Wow, you called it, Rob.
Mel Brooks.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I mean, I really want to see it. I missed it, and I'm looking forward to watching because I love him.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I told somebody in my family this a few weeks ago. I think, to me, he's the funniest person who's ever lived.
I totally agree. Totally agree with that.
And I'm not talking about just his films. I'm talking about, you bring him on a talk show, a variety show,
amazing.
Just an interview on the red carpet, and he is fall down funny off the top of his, just making it up.
You know what? Like Mel Brooks is in the list with like Don Rickles, Robin Williams, people like obviously Billy Crystal, like Martin Short. They're all in that league, and Mel Brooks is right up the top. Absolutely.
And the fact that of all of those, he directed and wrote some of the best movies ever, not just as a performer. Yeah, Martin Short. That's right. Martin Short's a winner.
That's awesome.
He directed Blazing Saddles. He directed Young Frankenstein. The Producers. I love History of the World. Just silent movie. So just some of the best ever. So
did it? That's so good.
You put all of the memorable quotes that he's written for these movies. You get an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Well, and just
one thing also that should
just off the cuff. By the way, you mentioned somebody a moment ago, and people had asked me about if I have gotten message from people that had ever met Robin Williams, and.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So.
Oh man.
I really hate that he's gone.
Me too.
Okay. Unstructured reality.
One thing I just wanted to make a point of, Mel Brooks did not win another Emmy. He is not one of the producers of the special. He was being honored.
But he's won a bunch of them.
He's won 4.
Yeah. Unbelievable. That's great. I'm really happy with that one.
Show.
Unstructured reality, and they split off the 2 reality this year.
Is that really necessary?
Category actually has a previous winner. Deadliest Catch, I believe, was competing in nonfiction or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's here, along with Alaska, The Last Frontier, Flipping Out, $1 Million Listing, Wahlburgers, Mark Wahlberg and Donnie Wahlberg could win an Emmy, and Wild Things with Dominic Monaghan.
Right. I still just think the whole
Deadliest Catch.
The difference seems so tenuous to me. Like, I just think, why did they bother splitting them up to 2 categories?
E.T. Phone Home, I love that comment. I also own the whole Mel Brooks collection. I bought it on Blu-ray a few months ago. Another one out there for, as long as we're talking about Mel Brooks, if you'll go on any of the sites where you buy DVDs, there's one called The Incredible Mel Brooks that I haven't bought yet. It's been too expensive so far, and I'm waiting for it to drop. But it's basically all of his talk show and variety show appearances over the years.
Oh my God, I must have that.
It's, like I say, it's even like the $75 range right now, but it's like a ton of DVDs. And he has recorded some extras along with it, and even things like not this AFI special, but like when they did the documentary on him on American Masters. I think that's on there.
Oh, I've been wanting to
Anything
see
where he's
that.
been featured prominently, it's on there.
Oh man, boy.
Now
Oh,
he
yeah, we've
should
got-
present next week, even though he didn't win himself.
Yeah, have him come out and present the final 2 awards of the evening. That would be a great presenter.
Years ago, he and Carl Reiner presented together, and that was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was pretty. I heard a lot of raves for. He presented Paul Mazursky with I think a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Writers Guild Awards this year, and he got a lot of raves for that.
I met him one time on the red carpet I was there for SAG Awards one year, but it was the same weekend that the Writers Guild on Saturday night was doing their awards, and they happened to be doing them in the hotel I was staying in, the Beverly Hilton. So I just hung out in the lobby, because I wasn't going to the show, obviously, and Mel Brooks that night was getting the Life Achievement Award. And so not only did Mel come through and I get his autograph, but lots of people that you would expect to be there for his tribute, like Carl Reiner and Rob Reiner and Barry Levinson, who wrote a couple of films with him, and Anne Bancroft, and just several people like that. So that was really neat.
So we got our Deadliest Catch won the Unstructured Reality Program Award.
And Charlie, tell us real quick the nominees for Structured, because they'll announce that in a second.
Okay, we got Antiques Roadshow, which has won this as a nonfiction program several years ago. Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Mythbusters, Shark Tank, Undercover Boss, and Who Do You Think You Are? Undercover Boss has won this, I believe, twice.
Yeah, two in a row. And that last one you mentioned, Dan Bucatinsky, Lisa Kudrow could win more Emmys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Looking down the list on these other ones, Mark Burnett on Shark Tank. Of course, Jamie and Adam from Mythbusters. Maybe they'll win this time. Daniel just interviewed Jamie, I mean.
Yeah. And they've submitted a Breaking Bad themed episode.
Oh, that's smart.
Very smart.
Structured reality program Shark Tank.
Nice. That's the only one that I'll watch.
I really want to watch that. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I hate reality shows, and I actually watched that one. Okay, we've got 2 awards left. We've got host.
The big
and they're
ones.
big ones.
They're the biggies.
Reality host.
Yep.
Who's everybody picking there?
Jane Lynch. Just seemed obvious.
I switched to Lynch.
I have Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn still.
I think it's one or the other. I think it's going to be Heidi and Tim or Jane Lynch.
According to Marcus, that tape for Gunn and Klum is really strong, so I wouldn't be surprised there.
You know, we talked earlier about these categories going in cycles, and I think this just feels like to me, and we'll see in a moment, after Jeff won so often, then they went to Tom, and then they went to Heidi, and it just feels like maybe they're trying to spread it out now and do a different one every year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jane Lynch on her, if you haven't watched, I mean, it's definitely a game show, but she's not like these other talk show hosts where she comes out and does introductions. She's in the whole hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of makes sense why they would have someone like her do that, because she's very good at doing and it really
has an improv background, so she could keep up.
Yeah, you see how great she is in those Christopher Guest movies, and you know that she's improving that dialogue. You know, she's very good off the cuff.
Well, and in the episode she submitted, which I've seen them all, but it was back from last summer, and just think about these two being, there's 3 celebrities and I guess you call a civilian, a contestant on each team. One team's celebrities on that episode were Martin Short and Jason Alexander.
Jane Lynch. Jane Lynch won.
Jane Lynch, absolutely.
There you go.
All right,
It
she was
just seemed
number
obvious
2.
to me.
Very good.
Good on you,
And
Jane.
now,
That's really great. And now the big one that we've all been waiting
final
for.
award of the night.
Mhm.
Best guest actress in a comedy series.
It's got to
I'm
be
just
Cox or Aduba.
I'm just waiting.
Give us the nominees. It's going to take them a minute to get Jane off the stage.
Yeah.
By the way, she is there because she was one of the presenters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got the nominees. Oh, do you want to go, Charles?
No, you do it, Matt. You're the senior editor.
Natasha Lyonne from Orange is the New Black. Uzo Aduba from Orange is the New Black. Laverne Cox from Orange is the New Black. Tina Fey from Saturday Night Live. Melissa McCarthy from Saturday Night Live. And Joan Cusack from Shameless. Rob, are you that invested in this category?
I'm very invested. I'm actually nervous for Uzo Aduba. I want her to win, and I would love to see Laverne Cox win as well. And look, I don't mind. Any of these actresses are wonderful, but I'm very invested. You?
Morgan Freeman, by the way, is presenting this award.
How great that he went to the Creative Arts.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's awesome.
Like, yeah.
What a category.
I've got Laverne. I know it goes against what I typically say about you better be funny if you're going to win a comedy award.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's serious. I think there's a couple of serious moments, and she's got both episodes. And they all have both episodes, but in one, she's the star.
Yeah, and she's wonderful in it. I mean, she's really, really, really good. So, look.
But if I could change at the last second, I'd be switching over to Joan Cusack.
Right.
I'm really getting a Joan Cusack feel.
Are you? Yeah, okay.
It could go that way.
Because she's so different than the other five.
Uzo Aduba wins!
Yes, she did it. She did it. That's wonderful. Congratulations, Uzo Aduba. 2-time Golden Globe interviewee. Wonderful.
Oh,
that's really cool.
Good for her.
I'm very happy for her. I'm very, very happy for her. I know how much it was going to mean to her. Same with Laverne Cox. They said it even on the Conan show. They desperately wanted to win that award. So that's very cool.
Laverne and Uzo, big Gold Derby fans. I think Laverne mentioned us on Seth Meyers, and Uzo obviously huge supporter of us, and so great to see one of them win.
Now, what does this mean for next week? Not in terms of what won, what shows won, but here's something I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Joe Morton, but I believe Joe Morton was the co-favorite. It's chalk. Yeah. It's our #1 person in each category, at least according to the site as an overall.
Really? Right.
Uzo, Jimmy Fallon, Allison Janney.
Yeah.
I don't know where Jane Lynch fell, but that one was...
I think she was at the top. I think she was.
Those aren't really shows that are coming up next week necessarily. And then Joe Morton. Nobody was really the favorite in drama actor.
No. Well,
does that mean that we should be going for all chalk next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should just be looking at the combined totals from all the users and top 24s and the editors and the experts, and that seems to be the best bet if you want to do well in your predictions. So,
Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Fargo only win 1 award this evening?
Well, let me check the board, Charles.
Go back to the board.
It's all about this board. I love this board.
It's like Dr. Strangelove. Let's see the big board.
Let's have a look at
not all the shows are on here. We lost a bit of track as a lot of different shows started winning. But yeah, we've got Fargo on 1. We've got Breaking Bad only on 1. We've got Big Bang Theory on 1, Downton Abbey, House of Cards, Boardwalk Empire, all those shows on 1. We've got Orange is the New Black up on 3. That did the best of the comedy contenders. We've got American Horror Story took out 2. And then we've got Cosmos, Sherlock, Game of Thrones, True Detective, and Saturday Night Live, all on 4. So a lot of 4-time winners. It's going to be hard for anyone to meet that record of 9 next week. I think you're going to need a Game of Thrones to sweep all 5 categories.
Right.
I don't think True Detective's even in enough races for that to happen. So that's sort of what needs to happen for a record to be broken next week. And obviously, the mini-series, there's different records for them to chase.
Wow, that's so good, Matt. Thank you for doing that board. That's really, really awesome.
That board goes to the Emmy Hall of Fame.
I think it should. I think you have to do that every year now. If we don't have that board, I'm not going to feel whole as a person.
Bronze that and put it in their in their I don't know what you call it, the showcase area outside.
I will be all year working on improving the technology of this board. We were gonna have such a good board. Like, you think
That's
this
awesome.
one? You think this one was good? Where he was? Just wait till next.
Wait till you see.
Wait till he
I
gets a
can't
hold
wait.
of a dry erase board.
We'll get you some funding on Kickstarter, and it's just going to be amazing. Guys, Uzo Aduba is the first African American winner of that category. That's important. That's really cool.
fantastic.
That's amazing. I mean, Laverne Cox would have also have done that, as well as being the first openly transgender winner of any Emmy. So it's historic no matter how you look at it. And apparently, Uzo Aduba's speech was really heartfelt. She was crying. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I hope I can get to see that on YouTube at some point. It's amazing. That's really cool.
Is that correct on the first African American?
It just says for guest actress in a comedy. Unless did B. Richards win in comedy? I thought she won in drama. But
I'll have to go back and look.
We'll have to check that.
Give me a second while you talk, and I can find it pretty quick.
It could be wrong, but
there was a couple of years early on where they combined them. They didn't designate comedy or drama.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, that's.
But I don't know that I would take away that record from her if that's what's holding it up.
Yeah, I would still say for comedy.
Yeah, for comedy, that's right. Especially if it would depend on what was B. Richards in. Was it dramatic or comedy?
I thought she won for The Practice, but I just could be completely off base.
Yeah, but I think she won another. She
won previously. Okay.
You guys talk.
So in any event, that's amazing. I was actually out. I didn't see Jimmy Fallon win that as well. So it looks like it was pretty much the top performers in each category. Joe Morton seemed to be. I think he was coming third. So I think you're right, Chris. It was just without putting him aside. It looks like Gold Derby was pretty much on the money. I wonder if that's going to follow next week.
Well, that's opposite of last year in terms of, especially the main ceremony, where I think the overall best user in the world was at like 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B. Richards won for Frank's Place, which is a comedy.
Right, well, there you go. Okay, well, I take that back. Uzo Aduba is the second African American to win Guest Actress for a comedy series, and that's still pretty damn good. Yeah.
And even Morton, who was third, there was a swell towards him in the past sort of week or two.
Right.
Especially from the Senators.
I think.
Holy cow! Wikipedia has her already listed as the winner on that page.
Yeah, they are fast.
I mean, that was what, 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. They are really
I'll tell you something else. Whoever does Wikipedia, if you are listening tonight, every time I would post new episode submissions, and you gave us credit. I'm not complaining by any means. I could go over to Wikipedia an hour or so later every time. Didn't matter how many days in a row, and they would be there.
That's amazing.
So whoever is doing the Emmy pages, you are on the ball.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Well, let me ask you guys something. Since Tom was going to rejoin us, but he's having to catch a late flight or an early flight back to California. So we'll just finish up here over the next few minutes. Let's maybe not talk in generalities, but let's kind of narrow it down, and we'll go through maybe 15 minutes of this. Tell me in the lead acting races, not lead, in the drama, the 4 acting races, drama 4 acting races for next week. Who are you most wavering on? Tell us who you've got, and then who you're most wavering on. Now, especially now that you know more facts from tonight. And I don't ever take away, we talked earlier, I don't ever take away what show is winning necessarily, because we've seen Game of Thrones dominate, not going to win anything. We've seen Boardwalk Empire dominate here, not going to win it. You can't go by that. But I think we can go by the fact that of the panels that we've seen their results, all the ones tonight, they seem to be in the major categories going with the favorites.
Yeah.
And watching the episodes.
I know. Well, I can tell you straight away, I'm wavering on drama actress. I'm totally wavering on that. I have Juliana Margulies, and I just have zero confidence in that at the moment. And I don't know who to put in beside her, because I think any of them, including Robin Wright, could win that. Any of them at all.
Well, that's what I said in our chat the other day. I think it was the 3 of us. If I was in a debate club and you gave me and we drew names out of a hat for that category, I would be totally comfortable picking any of those 6 and making a strong argument.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Robin Wright would not be my argument on episode. It would be on, she's the biggest film star. She just won the Globe. She keeps up with Kevin Spacey, which isn't hard to do. If you have some people on the panel that watch the whole season, they know what she did. I mean, I could argue her, even though I probably have her in 6th place personally.
Yeah, agreed.
I have been. I'm the 2 categories I'm most wavering on in terms of drama are actress and supporting actor, but I'm a bit more confident in. I still have Claire Danes at number 1 for lead actress. So I think I'm somewhat confident in that, but with drama supporting actor, I really don't know. I think I still have Peter Dinklage up there. I kind of want to put Aaron Paul in number 1, but I can honestly see, Josh Charles winning. I honestly, and I said this before, and I know some people probably think I'm completely bonkers, but I really can seriously see Jim Carter possibly winning that.
Well, that's a little nuts.
Just a tad.
And that's a category. I mean, I can't say what I said about drama actors. I think that's a 3 and a 3 category. I think that's I could make a strong case for Charles, Dinklage, Paul, but I don't know that I can make a case for the other 3.
Yeah, like with me, I'm wavering a drama actress like Rob. I've got Margulies there, but I'm not confident in that at all. But because part of me can't see her winning, but then part of me can sort of not see everyone winning, sort of thing. Like they're all quite strong, but no one stands out too much from the crowd. So that's the one I'm really gonna have to look at the tapes again this week and just think about it a bit more. Though
Well,
to
let
be
me
honest,
ask
I'm
you
not.
this, along those lines, because I remember there was at least a couple of times last year, I'm thinking, that happened. When you sat down, you watched all 6 in a category. It could be any category, and you have that feeling like, I don't know anymore. Nobody jumps out at me. Isn't that exactly where the voters go? Isn't that the ones that ultimately are the biggest surprises? Because if you have enough of them in the same boat, they are going to go to other factors. They're going to think about, in Merritt Weaver's case, oh, she does make me laugh on a regular basis. She's my favorite part about this show. She looks more like me than these other people. I don't know what the reason is, but they look at other factors, I think, when we see the biggest shockers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good point.
True.
Yeah,
and I think this drama actress race is like that. You get done and you just don't even know, which I think hurts Claire Danes.
Yes, it does.
If you don't think she has the best episode, she's not going to be anywhere near the other factors part of your thinking.
Also,
the only way
Juliana
she
Margulies
wins is if you think she has the best episode.
Well, Juliana Margulies has other factors because of the show being so huge
Right.
in the
All
last season.
you
But what
need
about
5 or 6 people that are Good Wife fans anyway that know how good the season was?
right? So what could we argue for Kaplan? Because I'm really close to just switching out Juliana Margulies for Lizzie Kaplan because I was one of the people who was really impressed with her episode, and I think.
I was too.
What's the argument for her apart from the episode?
She's got one big argument that's been going through my mind all week, maybe 2 weeks. Can Masters of Sex, will it be accepted by normal Academy voters?
Right.
And now we have a big yes. Allison Janney won.
That's it. That's right.
We didn't know that before.
We didn't.
Yeah.
Even though Allison Janney is an Emmy magnet anyway, it doesn't hurt that show.
Well, but it wasn't a over-the-top, flamboyant performance. And neither is Lizzie's other than when she punches the guy.
Yeah. I just think she's so empowering for women in that period. That's another argument. I think women
And
really
she
take
is,
her.
as Paul said the other day, or we were all talking in group, Carrie's crying. Robin Wright's crying. Claire Danes is crying. Juliana's crying. Michelle Dockery's crying. Who stands out as being the most different from the other 5?
Right. Yep, it's so true.
What about also taking into account that the voting is done where you rank them and you get a point for how you're ranked, and the lowest score ends up winning? If there are any of these lead actress contenders that we just think, well, no one's going to put them low, like they're going to be in the top 2 or 3 on everyone's ballot, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
I think, to me, and we're all just kind of trying to, I mean, I missed 3 guest categories tonight, so I don't know a whole lot anymore. Although all 3 of the winners were in my second spot. So
that's right.
I did have Joe Morton, and I had Jane Lynch, so I had a few things. And I got a lot of those technical categories I got right as we were just trying to get those at the last second. But back to what we said a moment ago about Claire Danes, if I don't think she has the best episode, if I don't just watch the 6 and go, well, there's no contest here, Claire's the best, number 1. If I don't think that, and I suddenly am going to that, okay, other factors mentality, he's going to be 5 or 6. Just for the simple, well, two factors. One is, well, she's been winning a lot. I want to give it to somebody else. And Homeland was a wretched mess this past year. Do I really want to reward it with anything?
Wow, don't hold back. No, you're right, though. Yeah. Absolutely.
If the other factors mentality starts going in there.
Yeah.
As I said the other day, the only reason I've got Juliana in first, if you're looking at all of what we just said, I don't know the person because she's so well liked in the industry. She's right up there with Julia Louis-Dreyfus just in terms of respect and likability. I don't know the person in this group that would rank her lower than second or third. Third at the worst.
Yeah, that certainly helps her.
Definitely.
I'm just going to stick with her. I'm going to stick with her. I'm not going to do it. I hate last-minute changes. It's the worst thing you can do, I reckon. Just stick with what you've been doing for the last few weeks, and I'm not going to move her. But, man, Lizzie Kaplan, I think she's a real threat.
Well, I do too. I think it's McConaughey, as I said the other day. I'm just not. There's too many that I just struggle over. I can't even go to sleep over some nights. I don't. If there's a category where I'm just confident, there's no argument that's going to change my mind. Even if I'm wrong, I would rather be wrong for the right reasons.
Yeah, and I think I like it.
It's Anna Gunn. If it's not Anna Gunn, they've totally going off the range. Right. And
I like it, Chris,
supporting actor, that is tough. I've got Josh Charles. But my Josh Charles argument was also my Kate Burton argument, which is he dominates the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And Kate Burton couldn't ride that.
Some of those categories you just can't overthink, and that's the case with Anna Gunn's, I think. You just have to, it's so obvious. The actor one, though, is not. And Josh Charles might benefit from the Good Wife's goodwill as well.
I just think Paul's is such an intense ending to his tape. That's just going to stick in your mind. Just going to go, boy, that was...
But as I heard somebody say the other day, and this was somebody from a network, just asking me my thoughts. I mean, voting's over, so it doesn't really matter. They said to me, and they're a Breaking Bad fan, Aaron Paul, what's he doing in this episode that I've not seen him do before? If I'm a voter, and I've heard, I ask that Oscar question almost to every person I ever interview that I know is a member of the Film Academy. And almost to a person, one of their responses is, I also always ask them, why do they vote for the types of people they vote for? It's always surprise element comes up. They did something in that film I've never seen them do before.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'll watch those tapes again this week.
I don't know if TV people have that because you have to play the same character for years. But even you fans of Breaking Bad, and I'm not the biggest fan, did you see anything in that episode that you haven't seen from him before?
Not really.
I was on the edge of my seat with his character in a way that I hadn't been before. I'm not sure if the acting was different, but I definitely thought, oh my gosh, he is going to shoot Saul in the head. And that... and I wouldn't have expected his character to do something like that before that moment.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah, so
he
like,
could win. I think he's in the. I mean, he's in the three that I would.
yeah, he's in the three.
The other one that I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, so when I watched that episode, I'm thinking, well, and I'm watching it, months after it actually aired, and I remember doing the news article about one of the reporters, one of the critics, saying, the next day, did Peter Dinklage just win another Emmy? So maybe I had over expectations when I sat down to watch it in June or whenever. But I was not. It wasn't like even the speech he gave years ago when he won, which was a long monologue.
No, I agree. So who are you predicting, Chris, for that category?
Well, I've got Josh Charles, but I promise you I could be convinced another direction if one of you wants to go.
Well,
I'm
Chris,
not
you
happy.
and
I wasn't happy. I said tonight when we started, I said I'm so scared of getting all 4 guest acting categories wrong tonight because I just didn't feel comfortable about any of them.
Well, that's the beauty of these Emmys. It's so difficult to predict.
Well, I don't mind when it's my second place. I mean, I do want to get it right, but if I know I'm at least thinking right, then I'm okay, I can live with it. And I just didn't want to go 0 for 4. So Joe Morton really salvaged me.
Thank God for that. But you and I said we pledged to each other that we were going to keep Josh Charles in the top. Maybe we just need to keep going and just hold with our fingernails.
Well, voting is over now, though. We can't help him any further.
No, we can't. That's true.
I'm sorry. When you just said we're just going to keep going, I just said that it just for some reason reminded me of the end of Thelma and Louise for some reason.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Over the cliff. Over that cliff, mate. We need to go
cliff.
over the cliff. Totally. Totally.
I still may change that one. I'm more and more convinced on this Juliana can't get lower than third argument.
Yeah, I just still I can't see, and honestly, when I think of it that way, I can't see Lizzie Kaplan getting lower than second or third. I really can't.
Well, the
see
only
that.
thing I would say there, and actually, if I was voting, I would vote her first. The only thing I would say there is not on performance, but when you get down to this other reasons section of your mentality, you could vote for her 5 or 6 if you just don't know her. She's new to you. You're thinking, hey, her nomination is the reward. That kind of mentality, I think, could get her down lower.
Yeah, if you're prudish and conservative as well, perhaps maybe if you're like an older voter who doesn't like that kind of thing, you might be turned off.
I was just thinking the material of the show just might be unappealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that goes back to until tonight. I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks, and that was another reason I jumped off of Alice and Janney was.
Yeah,
will they really vote for this show? I mean, it's not. It's going to have the right people on the panel. Was my thinking.
And it did underperform in nominations. I mean, not even a directing or a writing nomination.
Right.
That's right.
Well, Allison winning, even though she is an Emmy favorite, I think really makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Now, what about comedy?
Comedy. Series?
We can finish up drama.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Chris, am I crazy for going with Woody Harrelson?
No.
No? Okay, good.
No, not at all. Please, I want you to keep that, Matt, because if that actually happens, I am totally going to give you all the props in the world because that is a ballsy pick, and it makes sense to me. It totally makes sense. He's got 2 episodes.
Many people at every type of awards, this idea of vote splitting can happen. Yeah. I know it can happen because when we vote for things, we tend to do that. But more often than not, if you've got co-stars up against each other, and they're both valid valid co-stars, or 3 or 4, it often turns out that one of them will win.
Mm-hmm.
At the Emmys, especially where you've got the benefit of extra time.
Yeah, you're not judging it based off the same.
And Matthew's got Woody's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not judging based off of the same material for each one. It's each one selects their own material.
Right.
Yeah. And to your point, Chris, about them wanting to see something different. Last time Woody Harrelson won an Emmy, it was for playing Woody on Cheers, and like with his comedy background, he's doing something very different.
The problem I think for Woody, and we talk about every thing in these worlds of he doesn't play the Hollywood game. He hasn't even been to the last few Emmys when he's been nominated. He wasn't there when he won. He wasn't there just a couple of years ago for Game Change. And I don't think over time, I don't think that goes over very well.
No.
Yeah.
So you do have smaller panels. They may or may, you don't know who's on the panel. You don't know if they're even aware of that. But I know for a fact, I would bet for a fact, that the Daily Show's streak has stopped mainly because Jon Stewart seemed like a big jerk the last couple of times. One he didn't show, and the next one he really just rattled off about how he was using Emmys out for in the garbage dumpster and just, I mean, people remember stuff like that.
That's horrible. Some people who are desperate to
doing any of those things, and he is coming the presenter next week. So it'll be a first time for him, and probably since the early days of Cheers that I recall.
Woody Harrelson's presenting next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
But I think, not a voter wouldn't know that, and I just think over time those kind of thoughts Matthew plays the game very well, I guess is what I'm saying. And Bryan Cranston does too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Well, that's one of the reasons that Bryan Cranston has done so well in the past several years since Breaking Bad is because of his just the way he interacts with everybody and the way that he does make himself available.
Well, he is everybody's dream. Nobody thinks they're going to be, if you're in SAG, let's say, you're not going to have a career as a George Clooney or a Johnny Depp or a Brad Pitt. Your dream is to be Bryan Cranston.
Mm-hmm.
Character actor that occasionally hits a home run.
Yeah. And then does a paycheck movie.
And to wear it so well like he does is why he is so liked and loved in the industry.
Yeah. So let's talk about comedy, guys, because that's what's making me lose sleep. The comedy ladies, the lead actresses, I'm still stumped. And we had a really long talk about it yesterday, and I'm still none the wiser. I'm still going with Melissa McCarthy. I will not back off from her, but I'm pretty damn sure that Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to win that. So is it just between them two?
Well, for me, and I'll just be real quick, I'm treating it just like the Matthew thing. I got too many that I'm worried about. This one just seems like a done deal to me, and I'm just not going to lose sleep over it.
That's good.
And she's the most loved person, I think, in the TV industry right now.
Agreed. Yeah. And I just,
in front of the camera.
Why.
I don't know about behind the camera.
Yeah. And, okay.
I'm with Chris.
No, what were you saying, Matt?
I'm with Chris. I
knew that Matt was on the Julia train for sure. Yeah.
I have Melissa. I think I just recently switched Melissa to number 2 and put Julia in first, but it was so hard for me to do it. It was, I mean, it's hard for me to settle on one of them because for each one of them there are so many pros in their favor, and I keep on thinking that really the one with the more negatives, at least in terms of episode, is Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
Well, I talk more about records and stats than anybody, and again, I'm not going to change, but I mean, winning 3 in a row is not easy. It is as an actor. It is if you're the Daily Show and you're in a weak category for many years, or if you're Amazing Race or shows like that can. But winning 3 in a row acting is awfully tough, and they could be tired. I mean, just like the Claire Danes thing, you get that 5 or 6 voters on a small panel that are just tired of her winning, and they're looking for an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, okay, that being said, the other ones, like I've got 3 people that I really care about this year. Uzo Aduba, who actually just won, so that's awesome. Josh Charles and Kate Mulgrew. And so I really would love to see Kate Mulgrew win. And so part of my thinking is wishful thinking because it looks more obvious for Alison Janney. But don't you guys think that Mom not being nominated anywhere else does hurt her slightly? Even a bit.
I think a little bit, but I'm not sure. And I don't remember even where I have these people right now. But I mean, anyone else want to weigh in on that?
The same thing goes to Mike and Molly, by the way. I said the same. I should be saying the same thing about Mike and Molly. I'm not. So I'm being a hypocrite. But I just think Orange is the New Black did very well tonight. Not that really matters for the main show, but Kate Mulgrew, I think she's so overdue for some kind of recognition, and she is the standout supporting character on that show as well. So that's why I think it will be her. And her episode is dynamite. I think it's really, really, really strong. But I'm just wavering. I really want her to win. I'm very, very invested in this personally for whatever reason, and that's why I think it would be her. But Alison Janney always makes me laugh. Like, that is a guaranteed laugh for me whenever I watch that show. So I'd be happy for her to win as well. But that's giving me a bit of heartburn too.
I didn't think Allison was going to be able to add 2 more in 1 year, and that was another reason. Maybe I was just searching too hard to figure out a way, because I felt real comfortable about comedy, that she wouldn't win drama guest actress too. I know it's different panels and all, but just the way things kind of fall in life and the history books, I didn't think she could jump from 4 to 6 in 1 year. But I really doubt it now. I mean, I think she's going to win comedy supporting. It's another one I just don't want to think about. I think Kate Mulgrew, if Orange had started last year, Kate would have easily beaten Merritt Weaver. Let me put it that way.
Mm.
She just fell, I think, in the wrong year.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's close, but I'm going with Janney. I just think I always go.
It makes me feel like, you know, of the 2 that they really were thinking about from Orange tonight, they went with the more comedic. And Kate's performance is not really funny in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's humorous. It's got a funny tilt to it, but it's not funny.
Mm. Yeah.
It's tough. And the guys are just as hard too. It's just as difficult to figure out who's going to win.
Supporting actor to me is the toughest.
That's really tough.
I feel very, again, whether I'm right or wrong, I'll be wrong for the right reasons. With Ricky, with Julia, and with Allison. They just, to me, have the standout episodes, and they've got enough laughs to, I think, just be the front runners. But supporting actor, I don't know. I've got Ty Burrell. Maybe I'm being helped him on his episode.
Yeah, I do as well.
He won the SAG Award earlier this year, which was tough. You know, it's tough to win as a supporting when you're up against so many leads there. I think he's the best liked of the 6 people on Modern Family. I mean, I've got reasons why, but I'm not confident. It feels just like when I went into tonight. I wouldn't bet money on it.
So then, who's the person that you're wavering towards then? Because for me, it's Tony Hale. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to switch them out.
Tony Hale's one. Tony
though, to me, and we had some of these tonight that didn't win. I mean, I don't think he did anything in that episode to that last scene.
No, it's very based on that scene.
The last scene, with the credits rolling? Yeah.
No, I was going to say the nosebleed.
The nosebleed. I think the credits rolling scene is also extremely good.
Yeah, I was referring more to
very subtle.
The other one.
Oh, the bathroom scene. That's great as well. Yeah.
The bathroom scene is his money scene. Then he's got some good stuff after to back it up, like the credits and things. Before that, there's a bit of him struggling to pick up the crate and dropping the crate and things. Yeah. Like, he's got some stuff.
Well, now, he does things in the back. Like Julia said on the chat the other day, he does things in the background that she doesn't even notice sometimes till she's watching the episode.
Yeah, he's great. But can I just say, back on Ty Burrell, he's all really good in Jesse Tyler Ferguson's episode as well, and that's why I've had him at #1 for a little while. So it's tough.
I think Jesse Tyler Ferguson outshines Ty Burrell on Ty Burrell's episode.
I'm so surprised that I know in our Slugfest that we did a few weeks ago, a lot of you said that, and I was so surprised because I just didn't get Jesse Tyler Ferguson much in either of the episodes. It's just a matter of perspective, I suppose.
And that's why I like to talk to people, and this is live. It's not like we're not hiding out behind the scenes like we typically do. I like to talk to people because people see different things than I see, and you get a voting panel. Think about when you work on a committee or something, and you say something you think is profound or important or that everybody ought to agree with, and suddenly the whole room's like disagreeing with you, and you're thinking, well, what did I say? And the same goes with these episodes. People see things that I don't even see. When I watch Jesse's, as much as I like him, and I would love for him to come back and join us for an interview. I don't know what we did to tick him off years ago, but his portion of Ty's episode bugged me. That's not his fault. That whole storyline where he's constantly behind the 8 ball at the office, thinking the wrong thing. But that bothers me on any show. When you
really bad, wasn't
like that, where somebody's just so off base, I get real agitated. So it was hard for me to enjoy that portion of the episode, and it was a very reactive performance. Everything he does is reacting to what other people are saying or doing, and he's not instigating anything.
Yeah. Which is also an Andre Braugher issue with his tape, that he's more reactive and things. But
Andre's reacting to everything with Andy.
Yeah. But he's very respected. He's very respected, and it is a good character, and he is in a lot of the episodes. So,
well, before we had the episode titles, way back when we all had Robin Wright in first, I had Andre Braugher in first for a long time because I thought, if I'm a voter, I've never seen Andre be funny or make me laugh before. He's always so serious at everything. And I thought that would play very well to a voter that is used to him from other parts of his career. But then when I watched the episode, like you say, it was so reactive and so... He does have the moment with the flashback with the afro, that's a laugh out loud.
Yeah. It's short.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like fourth, I think.
Yeah. Chris, do you think Breaking Bad and Modern Family have the series races on lockdown? Are we going to see repeats in those two again?
I would not change those at all.
Yeah.
And remember, I was like the last person to jump on Breaking Bad last year. It was around this time, because I remember us doing a chat, maybe Creative Arts Weekend, where and I said, what exactly has Homeland done wrong to not win again? And I went through all the reasons why I thought it was going to win. It gained in nominations. It had a great second season, just on and on and on. And then about Monday or Tuesday, I just really started reading everything and looking at who all was predicting. And I just thought, I'm just on the wrong track here. But this year, I think it's Breaking Bad and Modern Family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Modern really by default. And I hate to say that after I just interviewed Chris Lloyd, which was a real pleasure, and it had its best season since the first, so it wouldn't be unwarranted. But it's kind of been like Jim Parsons has been, with no real competition. If you ever look who's up against Jim Parsons from year to year, you can kind of discount and dismiss half the category before you even sit down to watch the episodes.
Yeah.
And I hate that, because some people are so good at what they do, like a Jim Parsons. I'm not even criticizing him or what he does or the fact that he's won 3. I'm criticizing the fact that he's winning them by default. And the same with Modern Family.
Yeah. So
I don't think
is there any
a second, third, and fourth one, but I don't know what else deserved it more.
Yeah.
That had put itself in a position to win.
Yes.
If Veep had come along, if this season of Veep had been up against, with the current directing nomination, writing nomination, picking up the extra stuff, let's say 2 years ago, if that had been Veep, it would have won.
Yeah.
Modern's episodes couldn't have held up.
Can Veep win this year, Chris, or is it just no hope?
It's the only thing that can beat Modern Family.
Okay. Not Orange?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that, but I think it's Modern Family and Veep as the spoiler. But I'm worried about Orange Is the New Black as well. I think that is a strong third, and it could easily win.
It would go so against type and so against history that I would.
I know. I totally agree with you.
Wrong in my rightness.
No, I totally agree with you. It goes against all the just the history and the statistics and all that, but it is extremely hot right now. and I don't think it's completely out of question. But
the only time that's happened with an hour-long was Ally McBeal, and Ally McBeal, I don't even know what episodes it submitted, but it had some funny sections of episodes, and occasionally it would have fully funny, 60-minute episodes, and I'm sure that's probably what it submitted. And it had the best Emmy writer that there's ever been, a person that knew how to write Emmy episodes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
at the end of the day. I think that was a really important thing about Desperate Housewives, Glee, and those hour-long shows in the comedy series.
Pushing Daisies.
It's very common.
That had the heat.
Yeah.
So, there's shows that are Emmy favorites and shows that, and I'd even say Pushing Daisies is a bit different because that never made the series race, but it did pick up, won about 7 or 8 Emmys by the end of its run.
Yeah.
So there was some love for that show in the Academy. But yeah, I think even on the drama side, Grey's Anatomy is a show that when it was really hot, it got heaps of nominations, and then as soon as the Emmys had an excuse to get rid of it, they just dropped it straight away. But yeah, I'm sticking with Veep, but it's a bit like you, Rob, with Malgru, where I'm a bit like, I can just see Modern Family winning it more, but I'll stick with Veep because I've been predicting it for so long, and I just want to
just do it.
See it through.
Yeah,
I can't do that with every category.
I mean, back when we're at the 1st of July and we don't know the nominees yet, I said even at the time that if Veep could finally get in directing or writing, I would probably predict it. And then once it did, and then we saw the episode submissions and all, I'm just like, I can't. I think it's still Modern Family.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing? I have to go, but I just want to say, Chris and Matt especially, but Charlie, you've been on for most of it as well. You've done such a great job. Thank you so much. You really are the best hosts on the internet, and thank you. It was a really, really, really great watching you guys all day. And I'm going to go now, but we'll probably catch up soon. We've got another week and a bit to go for this very exciting Emmy season, and then it's over and done with. So I'll see you guys very soon.
Before you leave, and we'll all just cut out here, let me say, I'm sure we'll have a couple of more Slugfests this week. I can almost, we haven't talked about it, but I can almost guarantee that some group of us will do a pre-Emmy show the 2 hours leading up. We won't be on live during, obviously, because nobody wants that. But also Gold Derby TV Awards. We do have all the winners. The Prediction Center, Voting Center closed Friday night, and I know who all they are, and Rob knows who all they are, and we're printing up their winner certificates now, and we will have a live ceremony, either Wednesday night or Thursday night to announce the winners.
Yeah.
And these people love it. I mean, it's grown. This is our either 10th or 11th year, and, the first few years, nobody even knows we're doing it in the industry. But the last few, when we send them their winner certificates, we get all kinds of nice emails back. And some of them, if we don't get their winner certificate to them quickly, hey, where's my certificate?
I need it. Where is my certificate? Yeah. So true.
So they do pay attention to this. Not every one of them, but more than you think.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah. Have a good one.
Well, thanks everybody. Yeah. We've been on a long time.
Yeah, and thanks everyone who's been watching for so long today, for giving up your time to care about what we do, the Emmys, and to Tom and Paul and who else do we have on? We had Tony on. Users. We had Tony on. We had
Dylan,
Riley, Dylan, Ryan. Yeah, we had like the whole crew. So thanks to everyone for coming on, and thanks to Marcus and Ralph
doing a great job
for doing the real hefty work on this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
Yeah.